you know somebody who has a medical port, a port for drawing blood or getting all kinds of different medical treatments or blood transfusions, things like that, stick around because I'm going to show you how you can convert one of their comfy t-shirts into a zippered port shirt for treatments. Let's go ahead and get started. To start today's project, let's go over the things that it's going to take to insert a zipper and make this t-shirt a port shirt. So we have a t-shirt. I have some matching coordinating thread. Now this one doesn't perfectly go, but it's the closest one that I have to the color of the shirt that I'm converting. And you'll want to not only thread the top of your machine with this thread, but also fill a bobbin with the same exact thread. So coordinating thread, you'll need a zipper, and I like to use these polyester plastic all-purpose zippers. And you'll see I brought my shirt to the store and picked out a zipper that closely matches the color of the shirt. This is a 9-inch zipper. We won't be using all of that. We will be cutting it. So I would say you need a zipper that is at least 5 inches long. But in this case, I got a longer one, and we will be cutting this to fit the size that we need. I'm also going to be using some fusible lightweight interfacing. This is the Capen P44F. You need to cut a strip that is 1 inch wide, and we will wait to cut it to the exact length here in just a minute after we measure the opening. I will be using some Elmer's glue all to baste my seams, and this will wash out of our shirt the first time that we wash our shirt after the zipper is in. I'm going to be using some heat erase pens, or you could also use a water-soluble markers. You'll need a good pair of scissors. I like these because they have a sharp little point, and you'll see how handy these come in just a little bit. You'll need some pins, a couple of rulers, or really just one, but yeah, you'll need a ruler and an iron, and I'm going to be using the small one because I have really good control over ironing the seam. You'll see that here in just a little bit. And of course, today I'm going to be using my sewing machine. You can hand sew your zipper. The first port shirt that I made, I did not have access to a sewing machine, so I did hand sew the zipper in. But today I'm going to be using the sewing machine. So let's go ahead and dive right in and start working on this shirt. The first thing we want to do is determine exactly where the zipper is going to go. So this might be different for each person. Find out exactly where the port is and then measure the space where the zipper will go. We don't want the zipper to go into the collar of the shirt or the seam where the arm of the shirt is. So for me, it's 5.5 inches long. I'm going to mark my interfacing that was cut 1 inch wide, 5.5 inches long, and just cut that to fit. The next thing we're going to do is bring this over to the iron, and with the bumpy side of the fusible, we're going to place it exactly where the port needs to be. You might want to cover the fusible with just a pressing cloth or a scrap piece of fabric, and then press according to the instructions for your fusible. Once we have that in place, we're going to mark a center line in our fusible. So 1/2 inch down, we're drawing a line from side to side. And then we're going to measure above that line 1/4 inch and below that line 1/4 inch. All the way from one edge to the other edge of that fusible. Then we're going to take our ruler one more time, and from both sides, we're going to measure over 3/8 and make a little mark. 1, 2, 3. Make a little mark. Do the same thing on the other side. From the right side, measure over 3/8. Make a mark, and then you draw yourself a straight line going down. Then we're going to draw a little triangle, just like you see me doing here on both sides, from that center line to the 2 1/4 inch lines. We're going to take our sharp little scissors, open up and separate that shirt. In the very center line, we want to cut right along that center line to the tip of the triangle and then cut on an angle that little triangle piece. Go back to the other side, cut to the tip of the triangle, and then on both angles, right to the edge of the interfacing. Now for me, I like to glue baste everything. I have a lot more control. So I'm going to add a couple dots of glue and fold back that shirt to the very edge of my interfacing. I'm going to dry the glue with a good hot iron. Make sure to check what your shirt is made out of and adjust the temperature according. But we are drying all of this glue with an iron, and we are not bringing any wet glue to the sewing machine. We're going to glue both sides and then our little triangle pieces on both ends. You can, of course, pin your seams if you would like. Once that's nice and dry, we're going to bring it over and we're ready to measure our zipper that's going to fit right inside that window. Now our opening is 5.5 inches long from my shirt. I want to cut my zipper a little bit longer, and I don't like to usually include the little metal piece at the end. So I'm going to mark both sides, maybe an inch beyond the opening, just like that. See how it extends beyond that opening? We're going to bring this over to the sewing machine, and right where we marked it, I'm just going to do a straight stitch back and forth to seal that zipper and make new stops. On the other side, I am going to pull the zipper pull down below that mark and then again do a straight stitch right over that zipper. You might need to hand crank your sewing machine and not use the foot pedal. Be careful not to break a needle, but see that? We've created new stops for our zipper. And now we can trim off the extra pieces of that zipper. I like to round the little corners of my zipper. I think it helps to make it a little bit less irritable on the inside. And now that zipper just fits right inside the little window that we've created. I like to center the zipper right inside that window. You can, at this point, use pins to pin your zipper in place. That's probably the most traditional method, is to pin that zipper. You could pin it at both of the ends and then along both sides. But I like to glue baste, and so I'm going to come back to the iron one more time. It just takes a couple little drops of glue. Again, we're drying that glue with an iron, and now you'll see why I like to use the smaller iron for this project. I'm not quite sure if these plastic zippers melt with the heat of a big iron, but I have a lot more control with the smaller irons for projects like this. And we're just glue basting both of the long sides. And now we don't have to use pins at all when we go to the sewing machine. Once it's dry, we can go over to the sewing machine, and I will be using my zipper foot. And I'm going to put the zipper foot on so that the needle is actually sewing on the left side of the zipper foot. And now comes the most awkward part of the whole project, is opening up this shirt and fitting everything underneath of the presser foot of your sewing machine until the zipper is laying on the bed of your machine. You make sure that none of the shirt parts are tucked up underneath that zipper. We want to make sure that the zipper is open. That gives us some clear space to start. We'll zoom in so you can see a little bit better. I like to do a couple back stitches at the very beginning. And now we are just sewing right next to the edge of our t-shirt fabric that is folded over. When we get to the bottom, I do like to do a back stitch across that zipper and then continue right up the other side. You might need to move the zipper back and forth so that it doesn't make you do some crooked stitches like I did at the very beginning. And again, when you get to the other end, I do like to do another back stitch, just securing that zipper. And coming back to where we started, again, I will back stitch just to lock that into place. And just like that, we are all done. Even though my thread doesn't completely match my shirt, you really can't tell too much. I think that blends in pretty nicely. And this is it, y'all. I don't know if you've ever purchased or looked up port shirts on the internet. Different stores carry them. They can be quite pricey. But I think this is an awesome, very budget-friendly way to create your own with a zipper. I do think with practice you could get it even more perfect than what I've done here. What's really cool about this is the person wearing the shirt, going to treatments, can wear this one shirt and they don't have to bring a shirt to change into. And yeah, if they feel like it, they can make stops before or after going to see their doctor. And it doesn't really stand out that much. And they get the comfort of wearing one of their favorite shirts. So if you make this, I would love to hear from you down below in the comment section. And of course, if you have questions, feel free to ask. And thanks for joining me, everybody. I'll see you soon. Bye.